on Facebook. Good afternoon, Facebook. Thank you so much for joining us today. I'm Beth Copeland with Georgia Christian Business Network, and our vision is to put God back in business. We're so excited to greet you after a long weekend. I don't know how yesterday was for you, coming back after the holiday weekend, but sometimes it's a challenge, to bounce back, especially when you've done some overeating. But we're glad you're here with us today. And we're especially excited today because we have one of our corporate sponsors here. But this one is really a special one to us because Dr. Julius Skeete has been with GCBN since conception. And that's unusual to be able to say that. We spoke of him at our recent opportunity to recognize our corporate sponsors. And, we actually have two of you. Lisa Macy has been with us since conception as well. And she was able to be present. But today, we just want to honor you. We have a plaque for you and some things that we want to send over to you because you weren't able to make it. But Dr. Skeete, we've been promoting you for today. An outstanding topic. I'm going to let you say what it is. We've been sending it out with your bio, but in introducing you professionally, talking about who you are to us. But today we want to hear from your heart. If you would just take a few minutes to just do an opening, share with us, who is Dr. Julius Skeete, how important that is that people should know you, and just share who you are and what you do, and maybe chime in a little bit about Susan and the opportunity, the important and urgent role that she played in actually connecting us. But go ahead. I don't want to talk too much. I want to hear from you today.
Absolutely. But first and foremost, this is an awesome lady. I'm honored to be a charter member of GCBN, and because not only have we given to Beth, she's given a lot to us. Just the mission of GCBN, putting God back in business. And so I've been honored to be a charter member of GCBN. And I would encourage, and I'll say this both in the beginning and at the end of the presentation, to please make a conscious effort to be a member of GCBN. It's enriching. And as we always joke about, is that Sister Beth always has her good acronyms. And believe me, every time she makes a presentation with her acronyms, they're very applicable to business. And first and foremost, above all, I want to just thank God, who is the creator. We're just so blessed. I'm just so blessed to have him have God as my leader, my guide. And I just love this organization because that's the focus of putting God back into the business. In terms of myself, again, I'm Julius Skeete. I'm an optometrist. I've been practicing, gosh, I can't even believe I'm saying this, for close to 32 years.
Whoa, congratulations.
Thank you. And I've been in practice here in Georgia for 21 of those 20 years. 21 of those 32 years. I started up a practice in Gwinnett, and that's when I started off with GCBN. And I purchased an office in Gainesville, Georgia, about 30 miles north. And I sold the practice in Gwinnett about 2 years ago, right before COVID, which was a blessing for us. So we're down to just the one office in Gainesville. But what's amazing with my connection, I'm not able to attend as many of the GCBN events because I'm usually here 6 days a week, but I still feel being part of GCBN is very critical for my practice and my business, just for GCBN. So in fact, Sister Beth has been awesome because we've had members from GCBN who have actually come to Gainesville. We're still long-term next patients. In fact, the entire Copeland family are patients of mine. And because I'm I really am just committed to GCBN, we even offer for GCBN members a GCBN courtesy discount for professional fees for having their eye exam. So please, that's just another added incentive to not only promote good eye health, but to support our members in GCBN. So if anybody's a member, we'd be honored to take care of their eyes. In terms of my real connection, I got introduced to GCBN basically because of my wife, who's my basically my support. I don't know what I would do without the Lord and my wife. And
Oh my
a quick
God.
and
Awesome.
summary, she met Sister Beth at our church when Sister Beth did a presentation about what GCPN was going to do. And so my wife said, this would be a good organization for you to be a member of, or just to meet and just meet with them. And so that was my wife that actually introduced me to Sister Beth and GCPN from that meeting at church. And it's been a blessing ever since. And again, as I said, my success definitely comes from my wife. She's my support, my rock, and just phenomenal. I have a great support system. I have a phenomenal wife. I have two fantastic daughters. Another person I acknowledge to the success of my practice is my practice administrator, Mr. Richard Rosado. She and I have worked together, gosh, in the 21 years I've been here in
Wow.
Georgia. And she's just fantastic. She helps me with the office and keeping things going. So I've been blessed. I have a really good foundation. God, number one, my wife and daughters, and my administrator. And we have a fantastic team here as well. We are very fortunate. We have a good staff, and they take really good care of our patients. They're very passionate about eye health and eye care like we are. And so I'm just very blessed. That's all all I can say. I think that says it all.
That is so outstanding. So many opportunities there to unpack just from your introduction. I love it. A great leader always, celebrates the team and their contribution, understanding that you're not in this alone. And
No.
although you are the leader of the practice, it's the people that support you. And then the wise women that builds their home. Proverbs 14:1, and that's the way that I see Susan, is recognizing an opportunity to benefit her husband, their practice, I say, because you're one.
Yes.
And even saying,
Yes.
do this, support this. I've had opportunities to interact with her. She's on the call today too, so that's awesome. Not as much as I'd like. And also, you guys came to my 60th. Oh gosh, I'm putting myself out there, right? About 3 years ago now.
That's all right. We're good.
I know if I didn't talk so much, people probably wouldn't know. But really,
Okay.
it was just fun to be able to get to be on a social platform, because you guys have supported so much in business, and you don't know how encouraging it is. And your name over Thanksgiving holidays came up at our home because Romy was like looking at different devices. The baby, they were there in the baby monitor. And he was going around, do you see pink in the baby monitor all of a sudden? Or my computer looks like it's got blue. I said, Dr. Skeete, because the entire Copeland family, but I think it's Romy that you haven't seen really lately, have you? You've seen him, but not lately, right? And so we said,
right,
Romy,
right.
Dr. Skeete. So he said he'll be calling you, okay? But unfortunately, maybe not this year. I said, okay, keep seeing those colors. Nobody else is seeing it. But thank you. And then for your administrator, that length of service, support speaks volumes to, being a great leader that someone wants to follow. Okay. So I want to just say that I wanted to unpack that right there before we get much further. Now, today's topic is so exciting and so unique. And I confessed, I knew it was a good title, but I didn't know the strength of it until the Lord just started revealing yesterday and this morning, even a download of how it parallels with, we're talking about eye care and even envision. And we often do this when we actually have an opportunity to have you on the platform, to be able to see the parallel. Vision is something powerful. I'm talking about physical right now. It's something powerful, but it is also translated into something outstanding and powerful, because without it, people perish. Okay.
Yes.
I don't want to get ahead of any of this. I want you to talk, introduce your topic, because I've been safe to not say it other than promoting it. So introduce your topic and maybe throw us out your first point of what's important for our eye care. or
Understood.
however you want
So
to present.
our topic today is understanding changes in your vision. And like Sister Beth said, that can go into a whole different things that can apply not only to eye care, but even in terms of what happens in our life, which we're going to pretty much kind of overlap in as we do with the conversation. Um, Changes in vision can happen for a variety of different reasons and things. Number one, when we talk about changes in vision from an eye standpoint, it's due a lot to changes not only in our age, in our culture, and things that we're doing in our systemic health. So we can get a constant, evolution or change in what we're seeing and how our eyes perform just simply because of those many different factors, which again are applicable for what happens in our lives. I have several areas where we can talk about when we talk about changes in vision, and I'll try to focus on maybe two or three as we go along. I guess the first one is the one that we kind of talked about in the beginning when we were speaking and before we had our prayer, which is one that can be very challenging for most people, is changes in vision when we turn age 40. And I think most people post 40 know where I'm going with this, with the whole my arms are not long enough, or I'm tromboning as we call it. And that's changes for a situation called presbyopia. That's when people at 40 start having to pull their print away, or they start having to put on glasses for reading, or they look down, then they look up, and they can't readjust or refocus. And the main reason why people develop this process of presbyopia, and we're not sure why it happens at 40, but what does happen is the natural lens in everybody's eyes becomes stiffer. Think of the eye almost being analogous to a camera. And in a camera, you have the lens that autofocuses. Well, as we get older, as we get above 40, even though that's not really old, that lens begins to become stiffer. And as it becomes stiffer, it doesn't allow us to focus things for close. So what typically happens, things that people could use, look like at the cell phone, they start gradually having to pull the cell phone further and further and further away, to the point again when the arms are not long enough. And it's interesting because it's one of the more, I guess, traumatic issues that happen with people with their eyes, particularly when you have people who never had to wear glasses or contacts before. All of a sudden now they come to us. And I think one thing that many people are fearful of is losing their sight. So, that's the one thing. Now, for example, I'm a diabetic. I'll get patients who have diabetes that come in because their medical doctor wants them to have an annual eye exam because of how diabetes can affect the back of the eye. And I've had patients say, Dr. Skeete, I'll lose an arm, I'll lose a leg. I don't want to lose my vision. So, when your vision changes like that, it can be very, very sobering, very scary. But that process of presbyopia, again, is a normal aging process. And basically what happens is that we just have to give people glasses for reading to basically bring their focus back in so that they can read at a comfortable, distance. The challenge with that process is that because we're multitaskers and we do so many different tasks, it used to be easy for us to prescribe people glasses for reading because we know for whatever the age was, let's say if they were age 45, and they didn't wear glasses for far, they could just get a pair of 150 readers and call it a day. Well, the problem with that is that we read at different distances. Some people read on their cell phones. Some people read on the tablets. Some people do all their reading and everything on the computer, which is maybe 2 feet away, which is different from where your cell phone is being held. Now, for example, when I read the word, I can't read the Bible on digital media. I have to read the word with the actual Bible. So I'm still one of those few people that read books or read things like scripture. And that distance where I would read the Bible will be different than the vision, the point that I'm sitting here now on this Zoom video looking at the computer. So we have to kind of adjust for people, whatever they like to hold their print at and whatever working distance that they're holding vision at. But again, presbyopia is not a cause of concern of lost vision. It's just a reality that we have to give people glasses to basically support that lens that has lost its elasticity.
Oh, Dr. Skeete,
Now,
I have to interject right here. This is so
yes.
good. You would have thought that we had an exchange, a quick exchange right before the holidays, and it was brief, just like you're so, I didn't expect anything last, and you're reaching out just to confirm the date, time, little
Yes,
details like
right,
that.
right.
And but this is so powerful because you said two words, shift and adjust, is so good. I want to bring in a comment from Facebook Live, and then I'll make my point of what God just had to be God that gave this to you. It said, Maggie Williams, thank you all for joining us on Facebook Live. This is good. And hi, Maggie. She
Hey.
makes the comment, I needed reading glasses almost immediately after turning 40, but my husband still doesn't need reading glasses at 67. And that's not fair. Girl, I'm feeling you because Dr. Skeete knows my husband. And every time, of course, we just make a date to go to see Dr. Skeete. And
Right, right.
it's really so awesome just to go spend time, and we're getting our eyes checked, right? But we make a date
Right.
out of it. We spend time with Dr. Skeete. And my husband, I don't know if I've told you this before, but Jerome brags when we leave you, you know, still good vision. I don't need anything. I said, he didn't give you a prescription, no reading glasses. And so, Maggie,
Right.
know that I'm feeling you. You know, I know exactly what you mean. And then I'll throw it back to you after I make the comment about shift and adjust. This is so
Yes.
good because what God revealed to me, and you know, I'm not medically inclined or technical at all. I ask you a buku questions when I come there. And
That's
even he had to
okay.
send me to a specialist because I was freaking out. But he told me when he sent me to the specialist that he was 95% that I didn't have any tears or whatever. But this is the point that I want to make here. But he told me, he really treated me, and I could have saved myself some time or whatever, but I knew he knew that I was concerned. So he sent me out to have that look, my retina looked at and evaluated. But this is what I want to say that he said. He said, there's no loss of vision, you know. And that's with us, if we look at it from a technical side, and I want to look at the vision for the business side of that. When there's occasionally you're working the vision and things don't work the way that they always did previously to get the results that you're looking for. So you have to make adjustments in that. And it doesn't mean that you're going to lose the business and that you've lost sight of the vision. You just need to make adjustments to be able to move forward in the vision. And so I like that. So we make that shift, just like you're talking about with our eye vision. It is so good how God just revealed that. And I had no idea, none at all, that you
Right.
were going to know that. But it's important that we make the necessary adjustments. And I was like, how is he getting my terms and my words in that? Because this is so true. When you said at 40, when the changes, and I have to mention this, and you got it back. Because I freaked out in your office, if you remember. I was like, am I going blind? What's going on? You know, because I like to
Right.
read. I still read my Bible. Listen, I take it everywhere I go. And I love to read books. So we have to understand what you're saying. And I'm so thankful that you're sharing this information today.
Yes. Well, it's like you said, it's the same thing, because you and I have these topics and we talk about focus and we talk about so many things and we tend to, it kind of runs together. But it's the same thing when you talk about reshifting your focus. It's the same thing like for us with our business. We've had to, during the pandemic, shift how we do things in our practice. We were always hygienic in terms of maintaining things, but shifting how we see patients in terms of timing, spacing, what we have to do here in the office, how we do the examinations to keep everybody healthy. So we've had to shift our business model in terms of what we do, in terms of how we see folks, timing, things of that sort. So, again, it's sort of a parallel to what happens in life. You have to reshift your focus or change how you look at things or change your outlook. And that's the same when it comes to people that have developed presbyopia. You have to make a shift in what you do with your vision. It may be that person that didn't have to wear glasses now has to put on reading glasses. Now, like Brother Jerome, he has the blessing that, unlike you and I, he doesn't really have to worry about his focus for distance. All he can do is just get a pair of readers and call it a day. But some people can't do that. So, as the young lady who came on the eye to make the comment, everybody's eyes are different. We get a lot of people who, for example, the kids in school who have to wear glasses to see the board. They have the blessing now because since they have anatomically long eyes, which is what it means to be nearsighted, they're the ones now that can shift their focus by just taking their distance glasses off and reading with the naked eye. Whereas those friends like us who didn't have to wear glasses to see the board now have to wear glasses for distance and for middle and for near and everything in between. So that's why we have the progressive glasses. And that's where I'm going to now, Sister Beth, throw you out there, because one of the things when you got those progressive glasses, I remember when we first recommended them and you got them, and you throw me under the bus at the GCPN meeting when you said, oh, Dr. Skeete gave me these glasses, but I feel really weird in these glasses. I don't think I would get used to them. And that's a common thing that we find. I laughed because I knew you weren't throwing me on the bus.
Right.
But, these type of glasses that we have shift your focus because they allow us to see at different levels. And what happens is many times people get these progressive glasses, and we do a bad job as eye care providers in telling people that these are no-line bifocals. They're not. They have multiple levels. They're not trifocals. My glasses have 11 levels of graduation to help compensate for the fact that that natural lens in the eye has lost its flexibility. But again, that's a change of focus, a change of how we see. You have to really learn how to navigate through these glasses. And just for people who ever got them or apprehensive of getting them, they're not hard to get used to, but you have to understand that they have multiple levels, and how they sit on your face makes a big difference. And like in anything, like in life, it takes a little while of practice to get used to them. So keeping an open perspective, but knowing you have to readjust and shift your focusing, because what you used to focus before is different now. You're using these as support. Just like in terms of our business, we get those episodes of challenges where we feel, oh my gosh, woe is me. And that's when you really then have to go back and lean on your faith to say to God, Lord, please help me, guide me, direct me. Because again, your focus may have shifted, and you might get to a point where you're guided and you're not quite sure where you need to go to. And that's when you need the guidance from the Lord, and of course with friends and family, and of course, with being participating in GCBN, when you get that kind of encouragement, and just enrichment.
This is so good. Again, I'm amazed at how God, because you were saying about the different levels that it enables you to see. And when I first made that comment, I was so not used to that. And it took an adjustment for me, but it was good for me. It was better for me. And that's how with the business vision, when God introduces a new level, sometimes it takes a minute to adjust to what he's doing. And,
Yes.
We sometimes see it as, fearful, so to speak, because honestly, that's what it was for me. And you just made it so easy to recognize that it was life changes, but it was not bad to be feared like that. Yeah, I was requiring, another set of eyes, I say sometimes. Where's my other set of eyes? These are my eyes,
Right.
these are my eyes I really need. And so the opportunity that you just mentioned is the shift and the adjustments and the different levels. And what we sometimes fear is the very thing that we need, because God knows what he's doing, because you could foresee as an eye care professional that my eyes, the test that you do, enabled you to see what exactly is going on behind the surface. And as we look to God for direction as we work our businesses, he knows what's best. He allows those things that are necessary for us to be able to make that shift in our businesses as well, so that we can see on the different levels, because we really didn't know. I didn't know when I was coming to you that my eyesight, although it was projecting out, well, here I need this I need here, and this here, and the way you explain it, and you'll put the technical piece to it, but it
Got you.
did. It enabled me
Yes.
to see clear and better. But the adjustment for me was not to be trying to look down here to, because I was doing that before. Remember, we had the two, and I
Right,
was looking
right.
here and looking there, and you told me what was happening, you know, and it was
Yes,
uncomfortable
yes.
because you could make it better by doing this. You tell them what you did.
Well, what happens is that, you after you realize, because it's just the same thing with an eye care. It's amazing when we get patients who don't realize what they're missing because you don't have a perspective. I mean, if you, for example, you have a child who's never been given glasses, you put that pair of glasses on, and it's for a miracle because for the first time, they are able to see leaves on the trees. But if you don't have that perspective, you don't know what you're missing until you actually get it. And that's the same thing when it comes to these progressive glasses and what you have in life. You have to kind of sometimes step out there and just kind of see. But the thing that we try to do with something like the progressive glasses is give you guidance, because we'll get a lot of folks who really need them, but there's not only fear of what they may provide or the misinformation that will, my friend got glasses and she had a bad experience with them, so I'm not going to get them because she couldn't get used to them. But that's where sort of education or having the provider take time to explain to you what the potential of these lenses can do for you and guide the person to know how to make adjustment, because now that you have received them and you've worn them and having several pairs, you know
Mhm.
what they give you, what they provide, and so you know how to navigate through them. But you needed that sort of knowledge and that experience to kind of guide your way through them, and that's kind of where you are now. So I can't see myself not having these
Oh
because I wound up
no.
having 3 or 4 pairs of
Yeah.
having to get by. And it just makes it more efficient. But again, it just took a little learning curve to get you to where you needed to be.
Experience, learning curve. Those are great terms, even to parallel. And even Maggie came back and made a comment over on the Facebook Live side. And I see you out there, Jennifer. Thank you for joining us. And any
Thank
others
you.
that are out there, let us know who you are. We want to hear from you as well. But she said, I love the parallel between how our vision shifts over time to how our vision for our business will go through changes. And you talked about experience, and the more we get adjusted to the new thing that is going to shine greater light in our lives, the same as you just explained for I've had several pairs of these. I make a point of going to Dr. Skeete annually. COVID sent me out a little bit farther than I for this year, but I got there. I got it in. And one of the
Mhm.
things that is so important, although I went through a little something, that he did send me to a specialist just to confirm what he told me 95%. And you don't know sometimes, Dr. Ski, I don't know if people tell you just how valuable what you do is to the way you encourage us. It was so encouraging. I told my husband, I said, right before I was scheduled, and God allows things sometimes in our lives to prompt us to do what we need to do. I had already scheduled Dr. Ski, but when I first had the experience that I needed to share with him that necessitated him to send me to the specialist, I had already scheduled my appointment. But what I want to say is that sometimes if I hadn't scheduled it, God allows things so that we know that we can go do what we're supposed to be doing. And I'm saying that for the business side. But had I not already scheduled, it would have been a motivator. for me to, oh yeah, I'm overdue to go see Dr. Skeete. But one of the things that he mentioned, and I don't mind sharing on air, he says he's diabetic. I'm pre-diabetic. And one of the things that I've learned over the years from Dr. Skeete is that he's able, through this eye vision, to detect what other areas of our bodies may be challenged. And I'll let you speak to that more in a second. But the only thing that I want to say about this from a business perspective is making sure that we are visiting our vision, tweaking our vision, and making sure that we're doing a checkup, if you will. I said annually, I'm going. We're going. My family's going. You know, Copeland Jr.'s Bianca lives up in Marietta, and Jessica's in. Oh, you know what? This is another reason your name came up, because she surprised us for the holidays, and she showed up. She lives in Dallas now, and I said, wow. She said, yeah, I've got to schedule with Dr. Skeete somehow, because she's going to be in town for 2 weeks around a Christmas holiday, and she wants to come see you. And so they were talking about that. It's important that you find a healthcare provider that is professional and proven. And that word that he said, experience. And you want to make it a a family type physician. That's what I recommend. Now, this is Beth Copeland. Dr. Skeete, you don't have to buy into it, but Beth Copeland's putting this out here. And a best way to do that is to have someone that is experienced and someone can attest to it, because not only can I attest to it as a Copeland family, but we also have GCBM members that make that drive. You make a drive. If I told you it was a great sale up in North Georgia, you'd be packing up and getting there. So what I'm telling you, there's a great physician that is healthcare provider that's professional, Dr. Skeete in Gainesville. So start packing up and get on that calendar. Call his she was on the call just a little bit ago. Call the office. You may not get her, but let them know you're a GCBM member and make that trip. Now.
Yeah, but going back to, like you were saying, in terms of just with the eyes are representative of the body, and we can pick up a lot of diseases from the body through the eyes. And the number one, and again, I'm passionate about this because of the diabetic connection, is the fact that diabetes has a great propensity to affect the back of the eye. The eye happens to be one of the parts of the body where you have a lot of big vascular system. And so as part of the overall, because you think of the body as being a unit that we're blessed with, that, we want folks not only have an annual physical exam, but everyone should have an annual eye exam. And piggybacking on the test you mentioned, we have in our practice a technology called the OptiMap, which allows us to get a view of the back of the eye, which the patient can see the back of their own eye. And the beauty of it, we have continuity of care. We can take the picture visit to visit and make sure there's no subtle changes in the integrity or health of the back of the eye. And so I love that technology, because what happens also too, other than our faith, 80% of what we as healthcare providers can provide people with things they can physically, tangibly see, it resonates that much more efficiently. Now, for example, not to get into your personal business, but with the thing that you have presented to me, why I want you to get the second opinion is because of our high risk as diabetics. When people get floaters or flashes, that could be the precursor to someone getting what's called a detached retina, where the back wall of the eye could pull away. Or if you're a diabetic, that could be due to some type of hemorrhaging or bleeding in the back of the eye. And so, typically if I don't see something and a person is symptomatic, I've always been the philosophy to always have someone get a second opinion, since I'm not a specialist that treats, bleeding in the back of the eye. I've been fortunate at being here as long as I have a network of good specialists, because the thing that's also, when you talk about experience, the eyes are a small organ, but it's a very complex organ. And in fact, if a person has cataracts and they need cataract surgery, there's a specialist that just treats for cataract surgery. If a person has diabetic bleeding in the back of the eye or has a detached retina, they have to see a specialist that's trained in that part of the eye. If a person has eye pressure, which is called glaucoma, they'll have to see a specialist for that because these folks have experience in their own respective areas. So, you know, what we do is we're able to be as your baseline, almost your primary care eye provider. We can check for those things, but anytime I see something I'm a little suspicious about or I think that needs further attention, even though I was pretty confident that you were okay, because of us being a little bit higher risk, it's always good just to get that second opinion to put you, you know, at ease. But when we showed you the picture, that's why I gave you that 95%. Probably should have said 99%, but anyway, I said
I knew it was
95%.
high. Yeah, yeah. It, it,
but you know, they get that.
yeah, you did. You said 99%, and I went on the safe side at 95 because I thought it
Yes.
was, and I actually had to recite that over and over again. I'm telling you, you're playing right into my hands today because I'm not kidding you. I've got something for both of those because it's like a coach. You know, I never realized that till you just said that. You are my primary care for my eye care. And whatever there's there, you may have to outsource it. Like we go to our primary care physician to get a checkup for whatever. If they see something in an area that needs to go to a specialist in that particular area, then they send us out and send that order over. This is so good. I have to mention a comment that Jennifer McCollum made. Hi, Jen. Hope you had a good
Hello.
holiday. She says the way forward for growth and sustainability in life and in business is to remain open, willing to shift as needed. Circumstances in life often act as catalysts to propel us forward, tweak, and move. And that is so awesome. Now, I have to talk about, and not to make this about me, but since you mentioned something else, you wanted to send out because of result of symptoms that could be there because of my physical position or whatever. And those things that were challenging me health wise, because you have, as a coach, that perception, although you felt 99%, that was that 1% opportunity that you wanted and you cared enough to send me out for. Now, just like in our businesses, there's opportunities where if we're walking in business, there may be some things that we're certain of, even though you said what I want you to do. You even kind of prescribed to me the same thing the specialist did. He didn't change anything from what you said. You said for me to increase the drops just every time all day long. And because that was an indicator. Now I have to confess is that I wasn't, you had already told me and diagnosed me with dry eyes. Now, I didn't have to go out and buy any of the eye drops. I did not. You know why? Because I had buku, but I wasn't using them. So what I want to tell you as a business owner, if you've been prescribed through your coach some opportunity that you need to consider, do it. Trust what they're saying. And I believe, honestly, that the Lord allowed it because you know what? I'm going to tell you. Now, this is my purse that I carry within our purse. Now, what I'm going to show you right here is that I've got this. Do you know they make them this size that you can carry them around? I am faithful. Although rarely do I have a flash now. And I'm talking about the flash I was seeing more flashes than I was seeing anything else. But that has been, I went for the treatment. He didn't do anything. He did the same test that really, honestly, I have to say, you may say he did something more extensive. To me, he did the same thing you had done already, okay? We continued the drops. And then 2 months later, you know, he released me. I can't help you. You know, there's nothing wrong. You just keep doing what he said to do. And lo and behold, here I am, a testimony. Well, what did I learn in the process? When Dr. Skeete tells me to do the drops, and I may have been able to prevent this whole time thing, driving the Commons at 7 o'clock in the morning, because that was the best time for me to get there, you know, but do what the doctor says to do. Do what the coach says to do.
I'm going to bail you out a little bit. What happened was the two things, though. The two things could be different. The symptoms that you had, and again, we're not going to talk about personal, but a lot of times people will see flashes or floaters because that's a part of, again, changes with
Okay.
vision. We have a jelly in the eye called the vitreous humor, which as we go along date of birth wise becomes more liquid. As it becomes more liquid, people will see little floaters, like little black specks moving in their vision, or they'll get flashes because as that jelly undulates and waves, and light is
Mm,
going to the back, that's what will cause flashes. So when you have those symptoms, and again, you have a risk for diabetes, it's always good to check the back of the eye, the retina, to make sure there's no signs of traction or pulling. Now, the other thing that you have, which a lot of people have, and that was actually going to be in my hierarchy of things I wanted to talk about, we talked about presbyopia. The other big thing that we get a change with our vision is because of dryness of the eye. And that goes back to conversations we've had when we have talked about in the past about focus, losing our focus. And that's what I spoke about at the last presentation.
uh-huh.
When you have dry eyes, you do lose your focus in terms of how you see. You lose your focus in terms of just things get blurry, your eyes get stressed, they get fatigued, your eyes feel like they have sand or grit in them. And so the teardrops are amazing in the sense that they're not medicine. They're basically replacement tears. They're oil and water to help you regain your focus. The
Mm.
challenge that we have right now, because we're such a digitally media driven culture, just look right now at all of us on this Zoom call. We're staring at the monitor. When we stare at monitors, we blink less. We again lose our focus. Um, when we basically have certain systemic conditions like arthritis, diabetes,
Mm-hmm.
many people don't correlate dryness related to arthritis. So when we have those systemic conditions, we're going to get dryness of the eye. Just right now, this time of the year is going to be really tough because we're
Yeah.
going from the fall to the winter and into the seasonal spring allergies. And so here in Georgia, pretty much we have allergies almost 365 days of the year, but we definitely know we're going to see an uptick in dryness of the eye. So we just want folks to be really proactive and, putting in the teardrops, and they're over the counter. There's about 40 brands on the market, not medicine based. They're just oil and water.
Mm-hmm.
Make complete blinks because when we stare at the computer, we tend to blink less, our eyes dry out. And
Mm-hmm.
also, particularly for people like us who are diabetic, to be really good in staying hydrated. I mean, just drink a lot of water and do things like that. Again, because that helps us keep everything
Right.
into
Right.
focus.
Awesome. Awesome. And one thing I'm going to tap into is that dryness. And if you're experiencing in any dryness in your business, the opportunity is how are you watering? And I'm taking that from the tears with, the dry eyes, they need to be lubricated. Your business, one of the opportunities for experience and greater success in business is how are you watering? And the way that I'm using watering in the sense of pouring over moisture, life. Life in your business sometimes comes from watering others' opportunities and making sure that we're participatory in making it happen for others. And I'm backing all the way up to Dr. Skeete initially. Um, uh, Susan, his wife, just was so awesome in introducing him to GCBN 10 plus years ago. And so sometimes if we're not faithful with the watering, that we lose opportunities in business. And the thing that I want to say is that you're faithful, although your business is as an optometrist, you're focused on helping people well care with eyes, but you look for other opportunities aside from your business to be able to give back. And this is Giving Tuesday, so I want to put this plug in here. We have a Facebook donation that's up where we're asking an opportunity for those to sew in and water what we're doing through GCBN, which Dr. Skeete already invited you earlier to participate in. But I want to talk about that watering process that he just shared with us with the drops. He said that you know, and I know I should have probably read the ingredients, but I knew they weren't medicine based, okay, because I can buy them without a prescription. But he said there's nothing really in here other than replacing my tears. And because my eyes are not producing, as this is stuff, don't get excited if I'm making it sound like I know what I'm talking about. I've learned it from
You're
Dr.
doing well.
Dr. Skeete. Well, the opportunity in business is sometimes, and this so happens to be a green bottle that I have, is take some of what that may not be benefiting you, but you know, make it beneficial to someone else. Give back. And that's, listen, you need a scriptural basis. I've got it. Luke 6:38. Give and it shall be given unto you. We put our eyes sometimes focus so much. That word is so key on ourselves. We need to take our focus off ourselves and put it more on what you make happen for others. God will make it happen for you. And you said refocus, you know, have I made this? Why am I in business? Is it about me or the service I provide? I'd say, yes, it's a combination, but you make us feel, Dr. Skeete, that you're in business and your service is more urgent for making us eyes, like you said, a small organ, but so valuable and so important and urgent. I know there are a lot of people that don't have their sight, and so don't misunderstand what I'm saying. And there are opportunities there that are outside the scope of what we're talking about today. But if you have your vision and you still have opportunity, then you still have opportunity to take care of your vision. And that's why we're so thankful for you, Dr. Skeete.
Well, just to jump in that, and I know we're getting to closing, but that's also too why when you talk about giving back, in terms of that regard, that's why my team and I are committed when patients come in. It's not just giving patients a pair of glasses and having them walk out the door. I think it's enriching and keeping them focused on the points of good eye health. That's why we're so passionate about encouraging people to do yearly examination, even if they don't see us, but just we're committed to making sure people take good care of their eyes, but also by giving back by just educating people. You know, we're all teachers. If we take the opportunity just to share our knowledge with a person, and that's what our passion is here in practice, it's not just to do a comprehensive good eye exam, but just to let people understand what's going on with their eyes, because knowledge is power. If you know why it's important to take care of your eyes, guess what? You'll take care of your eyes. And a lot of patients come in and they haven't been given that knowledge, and they're like, oh, I didn't know that. So I think, you know, that would be our commission, is to just promote the good eye health exam, but just to empower people with the knowledge to know that, to water, so to speak, by giving them that enrichment, that knowledge about how precious the eyes are and what we all need to do to maintain good eye health.
Well, and you're talking about the whole body, although your focus is the eye. That's where vision has to happen, is with the whole vision. The whole business has to be examined and not just focus on one particular area, because if you do, you're going to lose sight of something that is valuable. It could be the demise. And so that's so important. You know, one of the years ago that you spoken on the platform, you said the eye is the window. Don't make me, and it's scriptural too, to the soul.
Right, that's, we got it from scripture. Yeah. The light of the body is the light of the body. You're right. And
it's the light of the body. And see, I listen.
Right.
I listen.
Yes, you do.
It's really good. That's the coach in me, is because you got to hear what the people saying. But also it took root because it was important to hear that. That's the significance of your eye examination, you know. And I'm not saying you shouldn't go for a physical, you should, but if you don't, please make sure you go for that eye exam. And he made a
want you to do both.
do both.
Yes.
But I got to push back on you, because you said your office wants to help the people, and that's good, but even if you don't come to us. Well, that's where the pushback is coming. I think you should go to him. I think you should go to Georgia
Well,
optometrist.
I would love you to,
Yeah, yeah,
but
yeah.
it's just, sometimes for space and time, location. But as I
Huh?
said again, I've been blessed doing this, and a lot of times, I'll stress my wife and my administrator out complaining about, oh, because I had a little tough day. But I'm very blessed in what I do. I love, enriching people and talking about the eye, because I think the eye is amazing. And so as I said, I would love everybody to come see us, but since I have to be realistic, my main passion, if I do anything, is just at least let people know it's important just to keep the eyes healthy. And the best way to do that is just having an annual eye examination. That's just the best I can share with folks. When you say give back, water, of course, we want to water our practice, but I also think
Mm.
in the Grand Commission, um, be a spokesperson from the standpoint of eye healthcare, just impressing upon people the importance of just doing an annual eye examination.
That is so the humility. Humility is before honor. I mentioned Susan's on this call. Thank you, Toby, also for joining us. And
Thank you.
I want to allow, if you want to, Susan, only no pressure. If you'd like to come present and share anything that you could add. I'd love what you all do when you provide for Georgia Christian Business Network. You're as much as part of this as Dr. Skeete. In fact, like we said several times, had it not been for you, we would not have been able to connect through this healthy working relationship. So kudos to you. We appreciate you and we value you. Thank you for joining us. This has been an outstanding opportunity today. I thank you for the interaction on Facebook Live. There are people out there consistently, Dr. Skeete. People are interested. And what we'll do is we put it in your website. We put your website in our communications. We will follow up and put that information on how people need to connect with you. Like I said, take a drive to Gainesville. That's an awesome place to get a smoothie that Joe and I make a point of going after our examinations. And it's once a year. And it's just a great opportunity to support a fellow Georgia Christian Business Network member and a longtime sponsor of GCBN. In fact, our charter member and a provider sponsor of Georgia Christian Business Network, enabling us to and undergirding our vision to put God back in business. And we sincerely appreciate that.
Yes.
Also, what I want to say, and Dr. Skeete, I'm gonna give you one point to say at the end, but I want to do my housekeeping for a second here. I'm so excited. I toyed with, do I put Dr. Skeete under Wellness Wednesday? But as you can see, it is so fitting to have him on our Take Charge Tuesday platform today, because there's a combination of things here. But speaking of Wellness Wednesday, I would like to invite you all to please join us back tomorrow at noon for our Wellness Wednesday kickoff. Do you know tomorrow is December 1st? This is my birthday month, guys, and I'm just really thanking God for that I get to see another year. Well, Wellness Wednesday this month, we're going to talk about what we learned from Christmas. And tomorrow's, the first kickoff is be like Mary, submit to the plan of God without protest. And so that's going to be an interesting, I'm not going to tell you all the other things they're going to talk about, but they've got it already mapped out for what they're going to discuss on Wellness Wednesday platform with Rich Oswald and Pamela Bartell, who are licensed professional counselors. And so some great opportunities there. The following Take Charge Tuesday, I am thrilled. I'm a little nervous about it too, my guest, because he made a comment about me and technology over the holidays and said, well, I answered that. I was like, don't make me do this. I don't want to do this. I'm not technical like that. He's like, oh, okay, we'll just continue to discuss this on our Take Charge Tuesday engagement coming up. I was like, so guess who my guest is? My son, Jerome Copeland Jr. And he is a PMP. And he is so outstanding. I am so thankful for him. And so, yeah, consider me not his mom, because I'm going to brag a little bit, and I want to retain my modesty, but I'm just thankful for that young man. But so join us at noon on Tuesday of next week for our Take Charge Tuesday. And we have an awesome layout for you this month. We're going to be brief this month. We're going to have about 3 sessions. So make sure you check us out. We're going to have some replays for the last 2 of the month, but we really want for you guys, we've got an outstanding, I'm telling you, I have to mention my BA Lisa Muth is off the chain awesome. I've been a little challenged over the holidays with a little pain, but God has been good and I've enjoyed them. But she's been working. Yeah, she listens to what I say and then she puts it into motion and then she implements initiatives. And I like that about that. So I wanted to send that shout out to her, that we really value and appreciate what she brings to the GCBN table. And you're going to be hearing more from her because she's extending her virtual assistance business beyond GCBN, and she's taken on new clients already. We're really excited because she does us good. She takes care of us, Dr. Skeete. And so we want to promote her so that others can have this experience as well. This has been outstanding today, Dr. Skeete. We've enjoyed you.
Always an honor. And as I said again, I'm basically blessed to be a member of GCBN, and encourage anyone who is thinking to definitely go ahead. And as I said, you've enriched me for over 10 years, and I thank you and your family. And as I said again, I love how when we get these meetings, because we come together. We don't really talk so much about what we're talking about, but I know how we interweave how the eye care and the business, and that's what I love about it, and it just flows. And so, thank you for what you do. You are a blessing, you and your family, and just continued success as always.
Well, God bless you, and thank you so much. We thank you for the plugs, for the shout out. We thank you for the relationship. And this is a kingdom thing. You have a kingdom business. GCBN is a kingdom organization. Any of you that are interested in joining our network, we would love to have you. I'm so excited that Lord is bringing from the Northeast, South, and the West. We're expanded opportunities for membership. Dr. Karen has become a guardian sponsor out of Dallas, Texas. Isn't that awesome? Right. Kim Smith out of Missouri and as a provider sponsor. And I just appreciate that. I thank you for utilizing people, God, like Toby. We met her through a person out of Cleveland, Ohio, and Toby attended GGG, and God just blessed her. I'm going to share a testimony from her on our Wellness Wednesday platform on tomorrow. So please join if you want to hear what Toby did. That was so outstanding. And we just want to salute you all. Thank you again for those that have been faithful and consistent throughout on Facebook Live. We sincerely appreciate you. Those that are watching the replay, thank you so much for your support. And if you have an opportunity, go to our Giving Tuesday opportunity and sow into what we're doing through our nonprofit God's People Ministry that undergirds GCBN and our vision to put God back in business. Thank you for joining us. God bless you, Dr. Skeete, Susan, and Toby for joining us here. Take care now. Blessings. Bye-bye now.